Um, Thanks everyone, whoever watching. Okay, so right now I'm going to. Well, I have to figure out here. It's kind of my first kind of the live stream about mathematics, and also this is a preschool which is a algebra. So it's kind of weird for me right now because it's a school level mathematics sessions. So what is algebra? I'm going live without any kind of editing, any kind of thing. Algebra is very important discoveries of the mathematicians to make mathematics more appealing, more easier. That's it. So if I will go for the next word problem later, but for now, right now, I have only one aim, that you can learn algebra better by practicing it more frequently. So have you noticed ever that algebra is all about finding x and finding y and whereas, but what is that? Well, there is obviously a reason why we should use the x or y or any kind of variable. So basically we have one name which is called variable. So variable means in simpler words, it means anything that can be varied. So x, y, a, b, c, d, any kind of letter, any kind of alphabet letters, you can change their values at any point of the time, right? That's why they are called variables. And there is something called constant, and constant is any number, any real number, any imaginary number, they can be constant, like 5 or root 5 or 5 by 3 or 5.3, whatever, even minus 5.3, any number can be described as constant. Now variable doesn't change. Like if I make sure that if x equals to 5.4, that means the value assigned to the x is 5.4. so that is the basic concept of writing the values of x equals to something. So x doesn't carry the 5.4, but it has assigned to the x right before. Now, so the best form of algebra, the more simplest form is ax plus b equals to 0 or ax plus equals to c. So if you have kind of examples of, like, suppose for 10 apples you have to pay $100, so you can say that for each apple it cost about 10 $10, right? So we can make this problem into a algebraic problem so that we can make it more appealing and more faster to solve. Right now, if I have to write down that apple, which is each apple, so cost of each apple multiplied with 10 equals to 100. Sorry, so we know that cost of each apple, now kind of APPLE is right now 100 divided by 10. Now one thing has to be observed here, that if you really write kind of this kind of thing repeat and repeat, you have to have a lot of time. So make it simpler, we just write down that a into 10 equals to 100, and then a represent the apples, the cost of each apple. So a equals to 100 by 10, which is absolutely 10. Now obviously you don't know how to do that, but assuming you are a school student, so this is why we need to use. Now there is a lot of rules, but the fundamental, there is a kind of 4 or 5 rules obviously there. So first of all, the first rule is if they like ax and plus bx, if there is a and b is constant part, like any kind of number like 5x plus 2x, it will become 7x, because the constant part is that one 5 and 2, whereas the base, which is x and x, which is very well, which is why this is called like terms. So 7x is the answer. So ax plus bx, we can say that a plus b were x, where a and b is constant. If we don't know what is a and b, if we don't know if you know a and b is a kind of variable, then obviously we can not do that, but for now we can say that. And also, if I say ax minus bx, it's a minus b into x. So you have to remember that if I say ax, that means a multiplied with x. Okay, so the term to next to each other is basically the multiplying with each other, right? And if I have to say ax into bx, now here is a crazy part. So a has a one term, b has a one term, but x has a double term, and you are just multiplying with each other, so it will become abx square. So the power, I have already uploaded a video about power and x. So x has a power of 1 and 1, so it's basically the summations of the power. So obviously I'll go a little bit deeper about it. So if you have, what does it mean by 2x? Okay, so let's say 2x is basically x plus x. What about x square? X square is basically x multiplied with x, or we can say that, or if I have x type of 5, so it's kind of x into x into x into x into x. So 5x has been multiplied with each other. So that's the basic difference between 5x, which is basically 5 times x, also equals to x plus x plus x plus x. So 5 times x, or the summation of 5x's, or multiplications of 5x's, that is the basic difference of the multiplications and the additions. So I'm kind of going with my pace. If you have any problem, you can comment. Also, I don't know if there is a comment or any kind of watched it. Okay. So another part is, if you have a divisions like x divided by x, obviously they are matching with each other, so obviously it will be 1. But what if I have to divide x square divided by x, then we will get 2 minus 1. Now why? That's the main thing here. That's the main purpose of today's videos, because power has power or exponents or index, whatever you can call, but they has a lot more power. So suppose you have, so the how can I say that, it's basically, if you have kind of power like a to the power m into a to the power n, basically what we have to do is just, the base is same, you have to remember that base is same, so we can say m plus n to the power a to the power m plus n. Example, 2 to the power 3 into 2 to the power 4, so basically we can say 2 into 3 plus 4, which is equals to 2 to the power 7. Alright, and you can explain it, because 2 to the power 3 basically 2 into 2 into 2, and 2 to the power 4 is basically 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, and also there is a multiplication, so it's a 7, which is 2 to the power 7. So that's why we can say that. And also inversely, if I have to divide a to the power m divided by a to the power n, we can say a to the power m minus n. the same rules applied here, which is 2 to the power 5 divided by 2 to the power 3 is basically 2 to the power 5 minus 3 equals to 2 to the power 2, or answer is 4, but still it's makes sense, right? So 2 to the power 5 is basically 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, and then we are dividing it by 2 to the power 3, which basically multiplications of 3 2's. Now if we can cancel out, obviously we can cancel out, right? It's like 10 by 5, we can cancel it out to the with the 5, so we can get 2. Here is also 2 2 2 2 2 2, and we can get 2 into 2, which is 2 square or 4. So that's the reason why it happens, right? So that is the basic concepts of power. Now obviously there is a lot more rules, like if I have a to the power 1 by m, that basically means it's basically means 1 by a to the power m. So if I have 2 to the power 2 to the power 1 by 3, then we can say it's basically 1 by 2 to the power 3. Okay, so power makes. And also if you have 2 to the power minus 1 by 3, it's so 2 to the power minus 3 is basically 1 by 2 to the power 3. Okay, so that's why we need a minus. So a to the power minus m, and I'm really surprised, I was thinking something else, kind of weird obviously, but yeah, a to the power m. So a to the power minus m is basically a to the power m. So a to the power minus 2 to the power minus 3 is basically 1 by 2 to the power 3, but what I have told earlier, which is 1 by m, is basically root over a and m root of a. That is when we have to square root of 4, we know that is 2, where it's 2, so this 2 is basically this m. Alright, so we can say it's basically 4 by 1 by 2, which is 2, sorry. So this is the representations of the power and index. I have already uploaded a video, and also this is vice versa. So now solving the algebra, because I have already discussed about the power exponents in very very fast pace. So I will be going with the algebras, the main part, which is how to solve a problem. So there is a lot more thing, but here is, so 3x equals to 6. This is the first problem. So 3x equals to 6, that means we have to do something like this. So I have 3x, which is true, equals to 6. So x equals to, as this is multiplications, 3x is, the meaning of 3x is basically 3 multiplied with x. So what we can do is basically these 3 can be divided here, and go will be here and will be divided. So x equals to 6 divided by 3. Suppose I have 5x equals to 10. Also x equals to 10 by 5. So whenever it's going to the right side, the side, so this is called LHS, which is left hand side of the equal sign, and this is called right hand side of the equal sign. So the rule is, if you have positive sign, it will become, so positive sign become minus, minus become positive, multiplications become divide, and divide become multiplications. That is the main rule of the algebra when changing the side from left hand to the right hand or vice versa, whether it's right hand to left hand also. Like if I have 3x equals to 3, we can say, as there is a plus 3 which is not written but still is there, so 3x minus 3, because there is plus, so whenever we are changing the side of 3 it will become minus or negative 3. Also, if I have 3x plus 3 equals to 0, then whenever I am switching, I am just changing this side, this term, this will go here with the changing sign of itself, like 3x equals to minus 3, or x equals to minus 3 divided by 3, which is minus 1. Okay, so that's the main primary thing. Also, I'm going to do some more examples so that you can understand more easily, like, and also you have to remember about the brackets notations, like 4x plus 1 plus 4x minus 17 equals to 0. All right, so 4x plus 1 opening the bracket and also opening the bracket plus 4x. Now here is a twist. If I have to remove, I have to open the bracket, obviously I have to multiply plus with the plus and minus here. So plus plus multiplications is going to be plus. So plus plus multiplications, whenever I am multiply two positive thing, I get a positive thing. Whenever I get two negative thing, I get a positive thing. But only time when I multiply with positive thing, we get negative thing, we get negative signs. So if it only happens with the multiplication, so as the plus multiplied with the minus, and we can get minus 17 equals to 0. So it is 8x and minus 16 equals to 0, or 8x equals to, as you can see, minus 16 becomes 16 plus 16, and then x equals to 16 divided by 8. So we can switch the side and making divided, so it becomes 2. So that's the main reason of the lot of complications, but the more you practice, it will be much more easier. Okay, so still now, okay. The next portions is, suppose I have 4x plus 3 divided by 2 and plus 3x plus 1 equals to 0. So what we can do is basically simply we can write down a symbol like this, or we can say it's or, whatever you can write, and then you can calculate the LCM of 2 and 3, which is 6, and then multiplications will happen, like 3 into 4x, which is 12x, obviously 3 into 4x, which is 12x, and 3 into 3, which is 9, and plus 2 into 3x, which is 6, 2 and 3 6, and then x, 2 into 1, which is 2, and then 0. Okay, so, and also there is a divisions, right? So that divided by 6 equals to 0. So whenever 6 goes to this side, it will multiply with 0, and 0 multiplied with 6 is basically 0. So 2 equals to 6 into 0, or you can say 0. So you can see the like terms will be added. So these two like term have to add, which is 12x and 6, which is 18x, plus 9 and 2, which is 11. So it's 11 equals to 0. Also you can say 18x equals to minus 11, or x equals to minus 11 divided by 18. So it's this is the answer. Okay, so and the next part is, why do we need the it's called linear algebra. Whatever I have taught recently, it's called the linear algebra. So linear algebra, when you are trying to solve the variable, the find out the values of the variables with the degrees of 1 only. So if x1, x to the power 1 or x, just we want to find out the value of x or y, then it's called linear algebra. But linear algebra is not the only case. Also we have multivariable algebra. So multivariable algebra is when you have multivariable algebra. So remember, I am not practicing right now the what problem, but I will obviously make a video on it. So multivariable algebra considers that if you have a lot more than one variable like x and y, it could be a and b, m and n, whatever you can say. So x and y, suppose I have two sets of equations. Okay, so like say x plus y equals to suppose 11 and x minus y equals to 3. So I have 3 ways to solve it, but right now I want to show you only 2 methods. I think that 2 methods is really cool. Okay, so if you have this kind of solutions, just can sum, you just add 2 equations like plus and plus. So what you have got is basically x plus x, which is x, y minus y, because plus and minus it will become minus, so it's 0, and equals to 11 plus 3, which is, sorry, it is 2x, because x plus x 2x, and this is 14. So we know that x equals to 7 or y equals to, as you can see, we can say from this equation or these equations, we can say that y equals to 11 minus x. So 11 minus x, which is, I have got the value which is 7, so it's 4. So y has a value of 4. So you can see that 7 plus 4 has 11 and 7 minus 4, which is 3. So it makes sense. Also another way of doing that, if the equation doesn't have a kind of thing like, suppose 5x minus 6y equals to 10, equals to 4, right? Not taking arbitrary equations. Okay, and then if you have 2x plus, suppose say 4y, you get 8. All right, so what you can how do you can solve this equation, set of equations? Obviously you can say that for 2 variables you need a pair of equations, which means for 2 variable you need 2 equations, for 3 variable you need 3 equations, where constant there is a obviously there is a rule that that is a part of, but I will make rather a more complicated video about it, but for now I think that's gonna be great. So it's like 5x 2x. So obviously what you can do is basically multiply these equations and multiply these equations with something, so that they either the y part or the x part becomes same, so that we can minus that. So if I can multiply these equations with 2, so we can get 10x, whereas we can multiply with these equations with 5, so that we can get 10x also. So the equations becomes 10x into 2 minus 12y equals to 2 into 4. Okay, so 2 into 4 is basically 8, and also 5 into 2, which is 10x, 5 into 4, which is plus 20y, and then 5 into 8, which is 40. This is the set of equations. Okay, so you have to multiply with both sides to make it balance. So what you can do right now is basically minus this equation, so that we can subtract and get 0x values, so we can make sure. so it will become minus and it will become minus. So plus and minus, it will become minus only. Okay, so here you get zeros, here you get minus 32y, and here you get 48. Sorry, it should be 32 because here is also minus. So minus 32y equals to minus 32, because 8 minus 40, also you have to remember that 8 minus 40 as smaller has to be subtracted from, sorry, the bigger number is subtracting from the smaller number, so you will get a negative value. That's why it's minus 32. So so we can say that y is basically minus 32 divided by 32, sorry, minus, and this minus and minus terms will we can multiply with minus 1 into minus 1, or we simply can write down its plus plus, or cancel out the minus terms from up and down side. So we get it's 1. So y equals to 1. And if you want to fill out any kind of equations from here, like, so suppose 5x minus 6, because 6 into y, which is 1, so 6 equals to 4. So 5x equals to, you know, minus 6 becomes plus, and it will become 10 because 6 plus 4. So x equals to 10 by 5 equals to 2. So that's how you can solve the problem. And another part is replacing the term. Okay, so this is how you can solve another problem. Also, I want to show you that the same example but with a different approach, so that you can make sure that it's called replacement, where we don't have to multiply these equations with any kind of numbers, constant or something else. What I have to do is basically take any equations, so 5x, and only keep x in one side and switch everything to other side. Okay, so 5x is basically, so minus 6y going to the right hand side, it will become 4 plus 6y, and x becomes 4 plus 6y divided by 5. You have to remember, it's not only individual divided by 5, rather it's a complete 4 plus 6y part divided by 5. So x, we got x equals to 4 plus 6y by 5. So now for the second equation, 2x plus 4y equals to 8. So we can say 2, and replacing x with this number, so 2 multiplied with 4, 4 plus 6y divided by 5 plus 4y equals to 8. All right. So this is the important step here. So now what you have to do is multiply these terms. So it will become 5 because no cancel out will be here. So 2 multiplied with 2 multiplied with 4 and plus 6y, which becomes 2 into 4, which is 8, and then plus 12y as 2 into 6y, which is 12y, and then just multiply with 4y. Remember the bracket, this part has to be in bracket, so you don't have to confuse with the plus 4y term. So now we have to do some kind of LCM here, which is 5. So 8 plus 12y plus 5 into 4y, which is 20y, equals to 8. So after that we can say that 8 plus 12y plus 20y equals to 5 equals to 8. So 8 plus 12y plus 20y, which is become 32y, and 5 multiplied with 8 when changing side, which is 48. So 32y equals to 40 minus 8, or it becomes 32, or y equals to 32 by 32, which is 1. So we get y, the value of y equals to 1. Also the x, the values of x equals to 4 plus 6 by 5, which is 10 by 5, or equals to 2. So x equals to 2, y equals to 1. So that's the basically the everything you need to know for a beginner, as a beginner, for multivariable algebra and the linear algebra only, because my aim is to provide you a basic concept about how we can solve any kind of problem. Now obviously it's not the everything. I have already I have made sure that you know the basic parts, and you want to make sure that you are practicing more and more. So obviously subscribe this channel and support me, because obviously my government is right now not spending money of me about me. So yes, I am a physicist. I am doing my PhD from my home university about theoretical physics, so I have to know a lot of mathematics. So if you want to learn about mathematics and physics, obviously physics and mathematics, then subscribe this channel and comment below. Also you can join into my Discord server, or there is a Telegram channel for you guys. So if you have any problem, you can directly contact with me, and make sure that you ask me any kind of questions or something like that, whatever you have facing the problem. So yeah, that's all of you. Thanks. If you like this video, even if you unlike this video, please give me a feedback and